Do you think that this sociological environment is kind of a trigger for the trend of wearing masks?
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so. Uh, you know, I'm going to circle back to the very beginning of this conversation, and I want to say something that might stretch what you said and give pause for thinking. So there are so many people that I see that I'm single, and I've been single since my divorce. And uh whether I envision myself in another relationship or not, I don't know. But you know what? I'm okay with that. As lonely as that might seem, but I'm okay with that because um I don't view my happiness, uh my complete happiness is not wrapped up in a relationship.
Yeah,
It's wrapped up in how I make myself feel in life. And
that's
that could look
crucial.
it could look many different
That's
ways.
very crucial.
And so when you said, oh, on a spectrum of maybe I'm here and this is the end of your journey and this was, the beginning of your life, and you weigh like, oh, well, should I be here or should I be married? Should I be in a relationship? Where's everyone else? And what looks, what society's saying is the perfect way to be, or, to look, or that defines happiness. And, I see, where I live, it's wonderful, because I can see environments where the social economic status is on lower levels, and I can see the social economic status on higher levels. And when you kind of measure happiness and you go, oh, well, does money mean happiness? And I look and I'm blown really by it, because it just money does not prove happiness. And I see people in these lives that are married and have children, and it kind of really revolves around everything we've discussed is, what are they living? Are they wearing masks? Are they living a lie? Are they being authentic? Because it doesn't look like they're happy. And kind of like you say, when you look at your behaviors and you look at things in your life, and you go, oh, well, why is this happening? And you really have to go back to the question is, am I living my true authentic self, whether,
Mm.
whatever picture environment that looks like? And I feel like for a lot of people that are trying to live that lifestyle or that life, and to fit in with the Jones, or to fit in with society, or to be judged as, it's empty. And it's funny because the word uh that you used around hope, is hope empty? And I think, and I thought, oh wow, I don't know, I would never associate the word hope as being empty. However, if I were to contemplate, could hope be empty? I would say, well, yes, hope. Any word could be, it's like a glass of wine. It could be half
Yeah.
full, it could be half empty. It's the way we look at it. And I think that's the way that we look at any positive feeling or construct. Is hope empty? And I would say hope is empty if you don't have any meaning to it. And so,
Also, this hoping is kind of, as I mentioned before, not really putting yourself into accountability. And as I said, I hope because I hope someone will solve that problem for me. Someone will come and clean up the situation. If I'm in a bad marriage, a new guy will come and take me out of that bad marriage. If I am having the troubles at my work, that someone will come and clean it up. So it's like,
Yep.
I hope.
Yep. Yeah, I think I do think that one of the things that we aren't doing as a society in general and whole globally is holding accountability
Yeah.
for our actions. I mean, look at all the political conflict around the world. The wars going on, and there's just not enough accountability, and I think that I don't know. I don't know what we can do different because it's such a fast-paced world that I think that important things are just getting left behind, like you said. Like, because I think it's just like, it's just, the net, and I feel like both personally and professionally, that's kind of the way that we live. You know, and it's like, well, are we slowing down enough to take accountability for what we're putting into this world? I
It's
mean,
in every relations. I'm not saying only romantic relations.
yeah.
In any interaction with other person, I think there will be also a reflection how the family is building the connection and interaction quality. Do you think that the way how we are building the relationships with people, with neighbors, with romantic partners, with friends, at workplace, has somewhere the foundation in a way how family did a footprint in our life? Because the first relationships we are building and experiencing is the family at the dining table. Is it empty? Is it full? Is it kind? Is it harsh? Do you think this family connection has the footprint on the way how we build the relationships?
Definitely. I would definitely agree with that. I think I'll speak kind of in general, but then I'll narrow it down to me personally. But I do believe that moving away from, you know, I think the family concept and growing up in a family, and a lot of us were, a lot of us didn't experience a family growing up. So, but I do feel like just kind of in general, moving away from the concept of that into a more singular attitude, because I do feel like we are very singular. Like I
Mm,
feel like this world is, and instead of thinking the mindset of thinking collectively, as if you wanted to get granular, collectively as a family, society, a community. You could just kind of funnel this down and say, okay, macro to micro, state,
yeah,
city government, and then just kind of keep getting down, neighborhoods, you know, social groups, so I think that we've moved away from that collective outlook to what's in it for me, or what, I think there's this singular outlook as to our lens is really just thinking about ourselves, and we've lost that. I think that's part of the disconnect, is just everybody's focused on themselves and what their life looks like. I know for me, growing up, I I didn't have that family. I know it meant a lot to me when I did get married and I had children. That was a value that I wanted to create because I didn't have it. And I did. And then as a single parent after my divorce and still raising young children, it was hard. It was a lot harder. And I think that I think that's what happens. I think that's what happens to people, is that through hardships, and maybe, as you say, past traumas, I think that we move away from our values. We move away from recognizing what was good in our life, or what was important to us, because we're constantly trying to conform, or evolve into something that looks different. And I know, as a single parent, it was very, very difficult to continue with no help, no resources, to continue having those family dinners. Like, they looked different. They didn't feel quite the same. And now, it's sad. I mean, I will be honest. The only time, my family, my children and I sit at a dinner table is if we're going out to dinner. If it's a holiday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, um, we don't we don't have family sit down dinners anymore. I mean,
If we again bring the sociological aspect that has impact on our development, in this case will be academic environment, right? They are not teaching us in a pragmatic way how to build the family. We are having so many people coming together and separated accounts, everything separated vision, separated cars. And if we count minutes, because I cannot say hours, during the week, how many minutes they talk to each other in the motivational matter, inspiration, knowledge sharing,
yeah,
nothing to count, right? And then naturally the things are evaporating. So that's why for me the sociology is having amazing and wild impact on us in the long term even. And then we are going, and let's make somehow this organizational ecosystem responsible for the rest of our part life. Because we put already a lot of burden on leaders, and
right.
and we are having various experience at the workplace. We are having expectations. They are responsible for 1, 2, 3. And as you mentioned, after COVID, organizations should be more focused around the emotional aspects of people and perceive people as human beings, which nota bene, I don't think it has changed, despite big statements. But do you think that organizations indeed should take that shift and create the psychological/sociological responsibility for helping people?
I love psychology. I love business, and one of the things that I really enjoyed, kind of doing research on, was corporate social responsibility, CSR. And studying companies that really are conscious of their footprint, what they leave behind, both environmentally, and socially. And I did a project, and I picked the Disney Corporation at the time. I really felt they had a wonderful CSR. And I do feel like in this global economy, that organizations have a responsibility to their communities, to, if they're making money, that, and they're selling something that's benefiting the community, but it's also impacting the community, and it's their responsibility to know how that's impacting the community, and to alleviate any damaging, like environmentally, or any damaging impacts to people. I think that is accountability. And I do think corporate accountability is important. And if you kind of like go down to like, well, what does corporations owe to people? Well, I mean,
Mm,
you know,
very good said.
yeah, it, if I like this analogy, and I'm going to write, share this with you. I'm gonna write something, and I'm not quite sure where I want it to land. If I'm going to try to publish it or just post it as an article on LinkedIn or whatever. But so my ex is a farmer, and him and I grew potatoes. We had a large agricultural farming operation, very, very big. And when I think about growing people, I kind of like the analogy of a farmer in that, and you can kind of, you can put any face on this. You can say corporation. So
Mm-hmm.
I like the analogy of what a farmer has to do to produce a good crop. So a farmer, he has a piece of land, and he goes in, and so what does he do first? Well, he has to understand what's in the soil. Will the soil grow a crop? Is it got good nutrients in the soil, or does it have bad nutrients? And if it has bad nutrients, then that means that he has to go in and he has to spray something to eliminate the bad stuff that's in the soil. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, if you took that analogy and said, okay, corporation, leader, whatever hat you wanted to put on that, you would say, okay, well, that's the responsibility. If you want something, then that's your responsibility to make sure that you're creating the environment that you're going to be able to grow something healthy and good. You have to put out good for something to happen good. So
Absolutely.
that's the first step for the farmer. He fixes the soil. So you produce the culture. You produce the right culture. There was someone that got laid off. And then when they left, they ended up talking bad about the whole team.
Mm,
And, it really, really left a lot of negative residual
yeah.
behind that these people then had to like try to navigate. And I thought, oh my God, well, okay, let's figure out why this happened. And are the leaders looking at this as a learning lesson? How can they protect their people from something like this happening again? Accountability. And it was handled all wrong, but and I understand why it was handled wrong. There was a lot of panic. In this world, accusations seem to, if you just say it, it's almost like sudden death sometimes with some politically, harsh words. And so I think there was a lot of instant panic. And then a lot of trust was broken. And I thought, wow, this grew into a volcano very quickly. And I said, wow, what could have been done different? Set up a policy. Because as you said,
Yeah.
emotions just went rampant. It was like a wildfire. And really and truly, kind of connecting with you on, okay, was this a time where emotions were not like it should have been more of a situation to where it was policy and
Yeah.
systems and not ruled by emotion. And
Mm,
how do you balance the two? And so what should have been in place was, hey, okay, well, how do you stop someone from bad mouthing? If someone's let go, they have a lot of negative emotions, or fired, a lot of negative emotions, and
no.
maybe they don't know how to handle that and it explodes.
And
And
at the workplace, if we
yeah,
are having these kind of bad mouthing, for me, it's just, oh Jesus, you didn't grow up.
yeah.
You didn't grow
And
up.
so that's what happened.
And if leader is even allowing for this kind of behavior,
They did.
that not that's cool,
Well,
man.
Well, and so, but I understand both sides of the fence. It was a quick knee-jerk reaction to, oh my God, this is my company. You're saying bad stuff about my company. I'm afraid of what my reputation will be. And so it was a bad knee-jerk reaction to what happened.
Yeah.
However, if you had policies and kind of going back to the analogy of the farmer creating, if you had policies to where you said, hey, I'm going to check in with you weekly or monthly to take a temperature check on how you feel about your job or how you feel about work. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Where would you like to learn more? Where would you like to grow? What area would you like to grow more? If you continuously set up some type of system policy where you're checking in with people and you record that, then when people are let go or fired or something happens,
Mhm.
then emotions don't have to take over and
Yeah.
create just a disruption, a volcano, and distrust that vibrates all throughout the office because you already have built a foundation of evidence to this person being happy
It just
or
came to my mind quite yeah, around happiness, but it was funny and sad. On YouTube, I saw some short video where the woman was invited for the interview, and the interviewer was a man. And he asks, "Are you married?" "Yes, I am." "Is your husband happy?" And she was like, "What? Uh, can you repeat the question? Is your husband happy?" Like, why are you asking about my husband? Why you are not asking if I am happy? Says, no, let's be fair for him. And he's not here. And I want to ask you if your husband is happy. And it was visible. I didn't see the full interview, but, and of course, with the shorts, they are playing with the design. But what made me thinking, we are so self-focused, so self-centered. And indeed, if we are just surprised on the street, "Are you married?" "Yes, I am." "Is your husband happy?" Like, when did I
yeah.
ask last time if my kids are happy? When did we have the quality conversation, exchange with our beloved ones, mother, father, or whatever, yeah? And
Yeah.
then it also brings me, when I talk about friendships, it's also you come up with some problem you want to share and how you want to measure the level of quality of your friendship. Wait if this person will ask you leading question number 1 and 2. If not, usually once you are sharing your trouble and struggle, they, "Oh yes, I know what you mean. I remember when I had that too. And oh my God, that's a really, really harsh thing."
Focus on them. Yeah.
There is no attention at all.
No empathy.
And this is what you said. If there is a policy, I will come and check your fever, your temperature on a weekly basis. This is also something leaders are absent in that matters.
Yeah.
We as a human beings in the family, we are also absent.
Mhm.
And in
Mhm.
terms of asking, the neighbors, "Hey, I will knock to you, and how are you?" Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's um, it's quite
It's the
sad.
two word. It's
It's
again,
another
yeah, it's
level of isolation as well,
it is
I think. Yeah.
keeping ourselves in our singular world.
Yeah.
Um, it's the two words that you end your chapter with is empathy and connection. And those are the missing elements of what we're not doing in life. We're just communication. We're not communicating.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
we're
How
not
are you?
communicating.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Okay. What's for dinner? Did you buy new socks for your child? No, I forgot. I told you this so many times.